I'm Andrene.
And I'm Joel.
And this is Rewind Rewatch, a 90s movie podcast. Welcome back to Rewind Rewatch. We are siblings who rewatch 90s films and then discuss how well they have aged. We talk about the themes, any quotes, the plots of the film, and then at the end of the podcast, we will give the film a rewind rating between 1 and 5. This week was my pick, and as you all know, we pick movies based on the request of you lovely listeners, and this week I chose Jerry Maguire from 1996.
Heyo.
This is a classic 90s movie, I feel like.
It is. It definitely feels like... It feels like a very 90s movie. Similar in the way You've Got Mail feels like a 90s movie, which is actually the first episode we did of this podcast. And they're both, I guess, rom-coms.
Yeah.
This is not... Well, anyway, I guess we'll get into that later. Do your full intro first.
Okay. This was requested by our mother, believe it or not.
Shout out to our mother.
The director is Cameron Crowe. He also wrote this film. And he also directed Say Anything, Vanilla Sky, and Almost Famous.
Yeah, whenever I hear that name, I think of Almost Famous. But that's a double Tommy.
Yeah, some Tommy
Vanilla
boy.
Sky and Jerry Maguire.
So we have Tom Cruise, who is the main character here. And we first saw Tom Cruise on the pod on our Mission Impossible episode.
That's right.
And then we also saw him in Interview with the Vampire on this pod.
That's also right. Forgot about that one.
Yeah. I mean, he has a ton of films. I'm not going to sit here and waste time going through them because we'll be here pretty much all night. But you all know who Tom Cruise is for the most part. And if you don't, well, you will after this.
You're listening to the wrong podcast if you don't know who Tom Cruise is.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You're not going to understand any other thing that we talk about on this show.
There's also Cuba Gooding Jr., and he was also in A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise. And he was in As Good As It Gets, that we also covered on the pod in an earlier episode. He plays Rod Tidwell. And then Renee Zellweger is the other big star. She plays Dorothy, and I know her from all the Bridget Jones's movies. And there are
Bridget Jones. She has a diary.
There's the diary, there's the Edge of Reason, there's the baby, and then there's Mad
The Edge of Reason sounds like a Mission Impossible movie.
Doesn't it?
Mission Impossible 12, The Edge of Reason. That
Yeah.
could also be a James Bond movie.
Yes,
actually.
that's what I was thinking. I just pictured, what's that guy?
Pierce Brosnan?
Yep. The good-looking guy, yep. And then she also, the last one was called Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. I don't even know.
It's a very British title.
That came out apparently this year, so
Yeah, who knew?
no clue what's going on with that. And I mean, throughout the film, there's a number of other stars.
We got to also shout Bonnie Hunt.
We
have to shout Bonnie Hunt.
Yeah.
Who plays Dorothy's sister, and we saw her in Jumanji.
And Beethoven.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We're getting a lot of repeats on this episode, man. All the heavy hitters are here.
Well, we're at that point now. We're quickly approaching 100 episodes, so you're gonna start seeing some familiar faces.
And then I'll have to give another shout to Regina King, who plays Marcy Tidwell. She's married to Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character. And in my opinion, the cutest kid to ever grace Hollywood in a movie, Jonathan Lipnicki. I mean, this kid, every scene that he was in, I just kept like smiling to myself because he was so adorable.
Man, Macaulay's not gonna like that.
Macaulay's not adorable. He's a great actor. He's not adorable.
He was a cute kid in My Girl, but no, he's no Lipnicki.
No. Not even close. Lipnicki also was in Stuart Little 1 and 2 and Like Mike. Okay, so
Like Mike.
before we start getting into the plot, Joel, we got to do the one sentence summary. So if you were to tell the listener who doesn't know who Tom Cruise is, has never seen Jerry Maguire, in one sentence, how would you sum this film up? Oh, God.
Oh, man. There's so many ways I could summarize this movie, and I was trying to decide which way I wanted to go.
Be objective.
Because the first thing that came to my mind was a sports agency accountant irresponsibly leaves her job to follow this man that she thinks is hot. Which is one way of summarizing this movie, to be clear. But I would say if I'm being more objective, I would say this is the story of a down on his luck sports agent who is battling with the survival of his career as well as his love life.
Yeah, he has a lot going on in this film, that is for sure. Okay, so the main character who plays Jerry is Tom Cruise. He is the sports agent that Joel refers to in the one sentence summary. He works at SMI, which is this big sports management company.
It's literally Sports Management Inc. They did not waste any time coming up with the title of this sports agency.
It's not important.
It's not. I actually appreciated that they did not even try to make it anything other than exactly what it was. It's kind of funny.
And as the movie opens up, we're seeing that he says he has like 72 clients, and he's defending a lot of these clients are just like, they're one guy's a complete scumbag. He's accused of sleeping with these underage like teenagers. And then he also has another client who is a hockey player, and he has had like his fourth concussion, and he keeps playing because, of course, as far as Jerry's concerned, he's making him money. That's all he really cares about. And we're kind of seeing that he's just like one of these, like, he says he's a shark in a suit. He goes out, he does his job, they make money, and it's not a very personal job. You're just out there trying to get the best deals for your client, therefore putting more money in your pocket, and you're just, trying to get as many clients as you want. And he's very good at like fast talking, and like he's very much like a salesman. How to like sell somebody on a deal, or this person is great, you gotta give him more money.
It also reminds me of like stereotypical like Hollywood speak, like the way that people always portray, and I'm sure it's probably very similar to this in real life, but the way that they portray how people talk to each other in Hollywood, where it's like everybody's constantly complimenting one another, but it all feels very superficial. Like, I feel like that was the same vibe that I got from like these sports agents, where it's like everybody's telling these athletes how amazing they are, how much they're going to be able to do for them, just like heaping praise upon them, and like, I'll do anything for you. I'll crawl on my hands and knees to make sure you get this Nike deal. Mm-hmm. And so it just reminded me of like that whole like Hollywood stereotype of the way that people in that world talk to each other. Like, it was just very like everybody's just trying to BS you all the time, so you can never really tell who's being authentic. But that's a part of the game. And like you said, when the movie starts, like as soon as the movie started, you see him kind of like doing his thing. And I was just like, oh, like I don't like this guy. And I feel like the movie was set up in a way where like I was not supposed to like him either.
Right. I mean, he doesn't like himself, as we come to see.
We find that out very quickly.
Yes. So
because
he's at this.
He writes a manifesto.
Which was basically like suicide for his career. He's at a corporate conference, and in the middle of the night, he wakes up in like a cold sweat, it seems like. He was like, 100%. He had covers over his body. He was like shaking. And this is after he had met with that hockey player in the hospital after his fourth concussion. And his son comes out and is basically like, at what point is someone going to stop my dad from playing? Like, he's constantly getting hurt. And Jerry's like, oh, your dad's tough. Nobody could ever stop your father. And he turns around and he's like, F you, and walks away. Because it's like, bro, he just wants his dad to be okay. And at the rate that he's going, his dad's probably going to die. Let's be very honest. And at that point, Jerry kind of has this aha moment or like he feels kind of sick of himself and the way that he's been acting. And he writes this, like you said, manifesto entitled The Things We Think and Do Not Say. It's 25 pages long, which, okay.
Nah, he's literally just like going in on his own industry about like how superficial everything is, how everybody's mad greedy. We don't care about these people. We pretend like we care about them, but we're just using them to get as much money as we can. We should have fewer clients instead of more clients so that we could actually pay more attention to them and give them a more personalized touch. And he not only writes this manifesto, he goes to like a Kinko's, prints out copies of it with a cover that he had time to design. I don't know why he made a cover. And then puts copies of it in the mailbox of every single person at his company.
It's wild. And also, it's like, you didn't want to sleep on this maybe and think about it in the morning?
He couldn't sleep. He had a cold sweat.
Yeah, but things like this, you might want to kind of take a beat.
He immediately regrets it in the morning, at which point it's too late because everybody's already read it.
And they're all gassing him, too, when he comes out. They're like, oh, Jerry, that was great. We loved it. Giving him like a standing ovation. Everybody's clapping in the lobby.
So I have a lot to say about this whole firing because, okay, number one, yes, he writes this manifesto where he basically skewers his own industry, and they decide, like, we're letting this guy go, which was a little odd to me because the first portion of that film basically set him up to be, like, a great sports agent with, like you said, 70-something clients. And I feel like for him to be as effective at his job as they portrayed him to, I feel like they wouldn't just like immediately kick him out as soon as he wrote this thing, especially without having some sort of conversation with him. Like it wasn't like he wasn't doing a good job and they were like, yo, we're letting you go. Like he was fire. They had this whole like party for him for his birthday, I think it was.
No, there was a bachelor party. We gotta talk about that.
Oh, the bachelor party, right. And then it's like, okay, there's all these people from his job there. Everybody's all like, oh, man, you're the man, da-da-da-da. And so, like, there's this whole presentation of, like, this guy's mad successful. Everybody loves him. He gets mad girls. All the guys love him. They all want to be him. But even though everybody loves him, can he show the ability to love others? And so this is the whole like guiding question of the movie, which is a separate conversation. But my point right now is the fact that like he's good at his job and everyone loves him. It felt a little rushed for him to just get fired off of this. I probably would have believed it more if he like did something that was detrimental to the company. But it wasn't as if this manifesto got sent to any of the clients.
Right.
So it's just like why would they do this? The other thing that didn't make sense to me is that the character Sugar, who's played by Jay Moore, something Sugar, I don't remember his first name. Jay Moore is basically another agent at the agency. And then like he takes Jerry to lunch and fires him. And I'm like, well, why is he getting fired by one of his peers?
Not even a peer. He mentored him.
It makes even less sense.
Yeah, so I was like, why is he firing him? I remember that part being very puzzling to me because I've seen this movie a bunch. And I was always just like, why is Bob Sugar firing him and not his boss? I don't know. I
mean, I get that the movie's trying to paint Bob as a villain and like we have to have an antagonist in this movie. And Bob is a slimy guy, but Bob is also slimy because Jerry taught him how to do it. And so, like, yes, I understand that we're trying to portray this picture of, like, the bad guy in this film, but it just didn't really make a ton of sense.
Fair enough. And I agree with you. I didn't see that coming. But, yeah, he gets fired, and then this is when Jerry shows up in the office and has, you know, not really a freak out. He basically says that you think I'm going to freak out, and he doesn't. But according to him, he doesn't freak out.
You guys think I'm going to have a freak out, proceeds to freak out.
And then he, you know, quickly says that he's going to leave. He's taking the fish with him. Okay. And then he's starting a new company and he wants, you know, someone to come with him. He initially believes that his secretary is going to come, but she's like, I'm a few months away from a pay grade. Like, sorry, Jerry, I can't do it. Which absolutely, I'm not leaving this company with my benefits. And this is when Dorothy...
Well, this is also after Bob Sugar hits the phones and steals all of his clients.
Oh my God. That gave me so much anxiety. Because what ends up happening is...
So he's literally leaving here with like nothing but Rod Tidwell as like his only client.
And Cushman.
This one football player that's supposed to be the number one pick in the draft.
Right.
So it's like, yo, you have 2 clients, you had 70, and you want us to come with you? Bro, you're having another breakdown. You already had the first breakdown was the manifesto. The second breakdown was, yo, I'm gonna give this speech to the entire office and then steal the office goldfish.
If anybody else wants to come with me, this moment will be the moment of something real and fun and inspiring in this God-forsaken business, and we will do it together. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
That might have been the third breakdown, actually. The second breakdown was yelling, "Show me the money!" And I love black people at the top of his lungs in the office. I think though that was the second freak out.
He had to though. He was desperate.
But yeah, that whole scene. Just going back to that for a second, that whole scene. Even when I watch it now and I know it's going to happen, it just makes me so nervous. My palms literally start to sweat because it's like you see the phone lines are ringing up. He has clients on hold. He's trying to hold on to anybody that he can. And the problem is Bob Sugar knew for a week that Jerry was out of here. So he had plenty of time to go behind Jerry's back, make phone calls, and start whispering in all these clients' ears. And so now poor Jerry is trying to salvage what he can, and it's too late. And then he gets on the phone with Tidwell, and Tidwell is talking about how he feels underappreciated as an athlete. His agent is not really there for him, or so it seems. And Jerry did promise his wife that he was going to give him more personal attention. And so now Jerry's thinking, what do I do? And on the one hand, you're kind of like, Jerry, there's like 8 people on the line, switch over. But then it's like, do you switch over knowing you're going to lose Tidwell, and then you also might lose those other 8? So what do you do?
Nah, he's in a bad spot. Because as soon as he gets fired, he rushes back to his office to try to make phone calls. And this is 1996. So these guys do have cell phones. These guys are like big shot professionals. But even still, you could only make one call at a time on your cell phone. So he wants to get back to his office so that he can like have all these different calls on hold. But like you said, it's way too late. And I think he made the right decision in terms of like focusing his energy on Tidwell because he at least was listening. Like he called a few other people, like the gymnast that he was managing, and some other people who I don't remember, and they were basically like, "Yeah, sorry, like it's over." Mm-hmm. So the fact that Tidwell was like still talking to him, still giving him a chance to redeem himself, he had to stay on the line, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, you mentioned Dorothy, the accountant who loses everything. So during I guess Jerry's third freak out, we're calling it now. During the third freak out,
she doesn't lose anything.
Well, she gives up. She gives up
everything.
Her job.
Yes. Okay.
Jerry says, "Who's coming with me?"
Let's be very clear.
And she says, "I'll come with you." Like right then and there, couldn't even pack up her desk. Basically, like took her purse, I guess a picture frame, and walks out with him. And one of her coworkers in the cubicle across from her is like, "What are you doing? Like, don't go."
She says, like, "Please."
She's
think
like,
about it.
I have
Reconsider.
to go. I have to go. So watching this movie back, I was thinking about the first time we see her noticing Jerry.
Oh boy, here we go.
So this is after he has. Is this before the manifesto? Yeah, before the manifesto. I believe they're flying. They're flying to the conference. We're flying to the conference, and she is in coach, and Jerry is in first class, and I mean she is breaking her neck, literally sitting on the edge of her seat. Leaning forward, trying to hear Jerry's conversation as he talks to another woman sitting next to him in first class. And he's talking to her about his relationship with Avery.
About his proposal.
Yeah.
to his fiance.
With Avery. And that story, what were your thoughts on that? The proposal itself?
To be honest with you, I remember I don't remember all the details. I feel like it was kind of trash. I felt like it was one of those things where like he just kind of did it. But to be honest with you, I feel like I was paying so much more attention to Dorothy's reaction that I was not paying as much attention to what he was saying as the fact that she was like literally enamored with him. And the fact is, they run into each other in the airport after they land, I believe.
Yes.
At which point we recognize that they work together. But at this point where we meet Dorothy in the airplane, I didn't even know that she knew this man. I thought she was just like staring at him because she thought he was hot. Mm-hmm. And she's very fairy tale idealistic. Like I feel like she's listening to this story about this guy when he has this girl and he made this gesture, and she's like literally like swooning in her coach seat before the stewardess ever so rudely shuts the curtain in her face, which is what they always seem to do in these movies. I've sat in coach many times. I don't remember anyone ever slamming a curtain shut. But anyway, I also noticed as a 90s reference that they had those old plastic earphones that look like stethoscopes.
Oh, yeah.
I got a kick out of that. I was like, oh, man, I remember those.
That's throwback.
And the really ugly fabric pattern on the back of on the airplane seat.
Don't miss those.
But yeah, she reminds me of this character from He's Just Not That Into You, the one who falls for Justin Long.
Oh, yeah.
Who's just swoon over everything romantic. Like, oh, I can't wait for some Prince Charming to come and like make this grand gesture like I'm in, an 80s movie. And I feel like her energy throughout the whole movie is like the way that she props this guy up, who, by all accounts, has shown no ability to actually love or care for these people that he gets into relationships with. So it's like, what is this actually? This infatuation is just because she thinks this guy's hot.
Right. So to your point, going back to the story of what happens, what ends up happening is he and his then girlfriend are hiking together, and he says that he was planning to propose during the hike. But then while they're hiking, she says something to him like, hurry up, klutz. And in that moment, he's like, I don't want to propose to her anymore because like the way she's talking to me, like it didn't feel right. What ends up happening is before leaving on the hike, he had asked either the hotel staff or someone who was there to start playing Here Comes the Bride when they come back.
Right, okay, yeah.
And so when they go back to the hotel, the music starts playing. And so he basically says he felt like he was forced to propose, and he proposed anyway. So it's like, you're starting the relationship basically on a lie. Like, you didn't even want to propose to her, and you did it anyway because you felt like you had to. And
well,
I don't know how.
That's a nice bit of foreshadowing because he does it again later in the movie.
Exactly. So they're telling the audience, like, this is the guy who kind of just like pulls the trigger because he doesn't want to be alone. And they say this numerous times during the bachelor party. So I don't know how Dorothy has hearing this story and feels like this is a guy that you would want to date. I don't really quite understand that. And the whole office knows the type of guy that he is because, as you said, his office buddies throw the bachelor party.
Right.
And it's during this party, and this is a very strange bachelor party because they
like
interview
an office party.
Yeah, but they interview all of his exes, and they
See, this is the thing. I couldn't tell if these were like real interviews or not, because it wasn't one of the women that they interviewed like this old woman.
Yeah, I thought that was a joke.
Yeah, and then I was like, are these all his
actors?
real exes? And also, they're not saying nice things about him. So, like, is this all just a joke?
Maybe. I mean, they had the fiance burning his little black book, which is also another reference from the past because no one does that anymore. We just have cell phones.
The little black book.
But back in the day, that was like a thing. Like,
it was certainly a thing on TV.
On TV, yeah.
I remember Will Smith had one after he got engaged with Lisa.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then he passed it to Carlton, I
He
think.
said he was going to get it to Carlton. What is Carlton supposed to do with that book? He's going to call a bunch of girls, hey, remember when you used to date my cousin Will? He's no longer available. Date me now? That doesn't make any sense. No one else is going to be able to use your black book. Here, Carlton, here's a bunch of numbers of girls you don't know.
Yeah, but at this bachelor party, they're all saying that, like, he can't be alone. He doesn't really care about anybody. And like you said, they're all very, very bad things they're saying about this man. And these are people that he works with. So it's like, you know that this guy at least has a reputation for not being able to really fall in love. Oh, he lacks intimacy was another big one they kept saying throughout the film. So, like you said, it seems as if she's just like, oh, this guy is hot. And also, she really likes the mission statement. She says that numerous times. In fact, she memorized a portion of it and quotes it back to him at the airport.
Nah, she loves his manifesto. She loves the manifesto more than Jerry does. Like, Jerry's like, yeah, I just like kind of was just like, I just wrote this on a whim. And she's like, nah, this is like the realest thing I ever read. And he's like, it was okay. Like he actually doesn't even care about the manifesto. She keeps bringing it back up. So I that's actually a good point because I do feel like that was a big part of the reason that she was like, even agreeing to go along with him. She's like, oh, like this guy's actually doing the right thing.
And in addition to that, I think that she felt flattered because when they first meet, he says, oh, I know who you are. You're Dorothy. You sit in this cubicle. You have this poster on your wall. He's just a very observant person from what I could tell. Like, he knows how to schmooze with people, and he knows how to make you feel good.
Personal details.
Mm-hmm. But she's seeing it as like, oh, Jerry knows who I am. Like,
he knows my name.
He knows my name. Like Rice from Beethoven, exactly.
He knows my name.
It was the same kind of vibe that she got. And so from the very beginning, I mean, every time you see her and she's looking at Jerry, it is so much. It is so
it's
much.
crazy. It's really annoying, actually. Dorothy just really bothered me. And so I might as well just get into it now. The way that she was like staring at him the entire movie was really blowing me. But I think the big kicker here is the fact that she's a single mom with a young child.
Yes.
And you're leaving your job to follow this man that clearly has no direction. I also love that whenever people in movies and TV shows leave a job, they always only have as much things to put in like one box, which is also wildly unrealistic. But it's like, yeah, he's packing up, he's leaving with one client. He has really no clue as to how he's going to manage. He's spiraling. And he also doesn't really have any clear way of paying you.
Yes.
So you're also giving up a steady paycheck when you have a son at home, which was like really like you're doing all this because you think this guy's hot. Like this is absolutely insane.
And the manifesto, Joel.
Yes, the manifesto, but the manifesto's not going to buy your groceries. Like he's going to have to give you money.
So since we're talking about Dorothy, we got to talk about her sister, Laurel. Dorothy lives with her son and her older sister, Laurel, in Laurel's home. And Laurel is a divorced woman, which becomes very clear because she has this divorced women group that meets regularly in the house. And I mean, all these women seem to do is just sit around in a circle and bitch about men on a weekly basis.
Well,
like, how's this productive?
All right. So that's funny. Because I do think that is definitely one way of reading that. I think was drawn to something else. And I think I was drawn to something else because of like conversations that my wife and I often have about male friendships and female friendships and the way that women prop each other up and the way that men kind of don't. And, you know, all the statistics about like how getting married increases life expectancy for men and decreases it for women and like all this stuff. So that was kind of in the back of my mind. And as I'm watching this movie, one thing that I was struck with was like, you have all these divorced women that are all like, they have basically built this community where they have other people that they can talk to about how they feel. They're going out, they're, meeting with each other, and they're commiserating, sure. But it was kind of like a way of them being able to kind of express. When his fiance, well, he actually breaks up with her. Because Jerry has this fiance who's not Dorothy at the beginning of the movie. They break up after she basically cusses him out for leaving his job. Mm-hmm. Which I have more to say about.
Yes,
but
me too.
After they break up, he's basically just like sad and spiraling out. And he doesn't have the equivalent of like a support group or really anyone. The only person that he could talk to about his problems is his client, which is also not the person that you should probably be like pouring your heart out to. So I don't know. I did see on the one hand where it's kind of like, oh, like you're just sitting in this room and complaining. But I also saw it as like, oh, they have community and Jerry doesn't.
Okay. I definitely didn't see it that way. I definitely just saw it more as like, and I think it would be different if they are talking about other things. You know what I mean? Like if it's a group of friends and it's like, okay, one conversation is about our ex, but let's discuss this book or let's discuss this film or let's discuss, you know what I mean?
But it's a man did write the movie, so.
But it's like all you guys can talk about is men. That's all you can talk about? So that, to me, I was kind of like,
man did write the movie, like I said.
I'm like, this. Yeah, I was like, it was a lot for me, and I was just like, this is not painting women in the best light, in my opinion.
No,
so
I mean, Dorothy doesn't paint women in the best light.
I didn't.
I don't think any part of this movie paints women in a good light.
But I did like Laurel, because Laurel kept telling her, like, look, as you said, he's depressed. This guy is hanging off of the bottom rung off a ladder. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. And
I don't know you're supposed to like Laurel. I feel
I did like her.
No, I did too. I'm saying I don't think the movie is setting her up in a way that wants the audience to like her, because she kind of comes off as like a hater, especially the fact that this entire movie is basically just like this very messy love story, which has a very cheesy, sappy ending in front of all these divorced women. And I feel like it's kind of like see, I told you so. And then the sister's just sitting there just like, oh, I guess he's going to love you now. Like, I don't know. I feel like she was not validated throughout the movie, even though I agree with you. Like, she was right.
No me gusta.
And frankly, I felt the same way about his first fiance.
Bro. Okay, we got to talk about Avery, because
like
they definitely,
she was great.
They definitely painted her as a villain, like you said, because It's like after he comes out, he's complaining, he's drunk, he's wearing his shades about whatever. She's working, like she's doing some kind of like NFL promo thing.
She's preparing for the draft that's the next morning.
So she's putting pamphlets out. She's has a really good paying, high powered job. She's trying to get her work done, and he's like bitching and moaning, and she's like, "Oh, actually, the bitching and moaning happens because he ends up losing the number 1 football draft pick the night before the draft, because
he already lost him actually."
Well, he didn't know that. The football player, again, he's going into the NFL. His pops is who Jerry has been, talking with. And initially, when he asked the father to put something down in writing, the father says, "Oh no, I don't really like to sign anything. But my word is my bond. It's stronger than oak," he says. Like, let's shake on it. And Jerry, bruh, come on now. You've been representing clients for how many years? According to you, you helped to build SMI. So you know what you're doing. And you're going to take this man's quote unquote word over a written contract? And then when he ends up getting screwed by Bob Sugar, which he finds out later on, I mean, in a really bad way, he finds out on the phone. I mean, it was kind of crazy the way they reveal that. But he finds out, and now he's just completely blown. And he's mad. He's mad at Cushman. He's mad at the pops. But it's like, you really have no one to blame but yourself. At the end of the day, you can't trust people, and you should know that.
Yeah. And his fiance, whose name is escaping me, Avery basically tells him, like, that was really dumb. You should have gotten something in writing. What I was expecting was going to happen was that she was going to basically be like, oh, like, you suck now. You have no more clout. You have no clients. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to be with you anymore. Mm-hmm. She doesn't do that at all.
Right.
She's like, yo, let's pivot. Let's figure it out. You need to be smarter. You need to get your shit together.
Right.
And her whole stance is unapologetic, complete and total honesty.
Yep.
And we see that throughout their relationship. The way she's like talking to him while they're having sex, and then like having they're like eating some fruits or whatever afterwards, and she's talking to him about her job, and she's like the realest of the real. Like whatever she's feeling, she tells it to him, and it's like, yo, you guys have a real relationship, especially as your fiance. She's like opening herself up to you. And juxtapose her with Dorothy, who says to Jerry when they first hook up, let's not tell our sad stories. And I feel like the movie is showing that as some sort of breath of fresh air compared to his last partner's brutal honesty, which I just fundamentally disagree with. Like, I don't think you should be like hiding things from your partner, and that's supposed to be better than like saying the thing.
100%
and so
agree.
And I feel like that is also why he breaks up with her, because he's down bad. Like he doesn't really have anything, and this woman is there for him and basically like, yo, let's put together a plan so that we can like get back up. She's not walking away. She's not quitting on him. She's not saying you suck now. She's like, you did a dumb thing and now we're gonna get you together. And he's like, yo, this isn't working.
I don't cry at movies. I don't gush over babies. I don't start celebrating Christmas 5 months early, and I don't tell a man who just screwed up both our lives, oh, poor baby. That's me, for better or worse. But I do love you.
Avery.
Nope.
It's over.
She even says to him, like, you know, like she climbed some mountain or did some hike or whatever. She's very fit. And she's like, if I could do that, I can make this work. Like, we can make it work. So she's definitely willing to put in the time and effort to do it. But for whatever reason, he was kind of like, nah, I don't really want to do it. And it's like, wait, what? Because even earlier on during that fruit scene when she's talking to him, he says things like, you don't have to be that honest. And she's like, this is who I am. I'm going to tell you how I feel, which is how I am. So I very much related to her in that sense. Because it's like, why am I tiptoeing around my man? That makes no sense to me.
But again, I feel like this is also an indictment about the way that men, especially in the 90s, wrote female characters. And it's almost like, oh, this woman is so honest that it makes her unattractive. Now, juxtapose that to Dorothy. Like, how would you describe the way that she...
Lord have mercy.
You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the way that she carries herself in front of Jerry is, like, very different. So how would you describe the way that she carries it?
You mentioned a fairy tale, and that's very accurate because she's very much like a Disney princess character, like seeing a Prince Charming. Because she sees him, she's oohing and ahhing over him. And the one scene that I didn't remember, and watching it back now pissed me off, was... after he finishes losing Cushman, he goes back home after the draft. He gets wasted at the airport, goes home, gets wasted again. He's doing like jump rope while wasted. And then he takes a cab over to Dorothy's house. And Laura basically is like, why are you letting this drunk man come over here? And she's like, he's my boss and he needs someone to talk to and he's lonely and blah, blah, blah. And while he's there, he gets handsy with her. Like he starts groping her.
He does grope.
And I'm like... this is your boss, and you're drunk. So it's like, what exactly is happening here? Is also like a whole balance of power is off because you clearly are employing her. And he's just sloppy, and it's just gross. And what's strange to me about it is like he pulls away, and even in his drunk state, he's like, wow, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, oh no, it's okay. And then he said, I feel like Clarence Thomas, which was actually kind of funny. But she's like, no, I'm not going to sue. And I was like, okay. But the whole time she's like longing for him. And the very next day in the office, he even brings it up again when he's sober and says, I crossed the line. That's not going to happen again. And you can tell from her face, that's not the answer that she wanted. Like she wanted him to
she
be
was
like,
no, please sexually assault me.
Yeah.
Do it again.
She didn't want him to apologize. And that's when she starts saying like, okay, well, I'll leave you alone with your thoughts. So you can be alone, 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 alone. She keeps saying alone, knowing that in his mind, he's like, well, how about we talk about plans over dinner? And then she shows up wearing a freakum dress. It's like, girl, she was getting on my nerves.
A little black dress.
She was getting on my nerves.
To go to
like a Mexican spot.
Family restaurant.
Like a Tex-Mex, spot. Like, he said, am I underdressed? Like, no, she's overdressed.
Nah, that was crazy. Oh, man. They went to Bobby's Burritos, and she had on a little black dress. That was crazy.
And
the other thing that struck me, too, though, is when up to the point when they have sex and then, like, get engaged.
Oh God.
Prior to that, they have this very strange relationship where, like, he has one client, he has one employee. He's basically like renting out office space in this place because the books are a mess. The books meaning, of course, the fact that he has no money coming in, and he's yet to get Rod any endorsements. And he's also yet to get Rod a new contract. So they actually aren't making any money. But what I noticed was that whenever they're together, Dorothy doesn't even talk. He just runs his mouth and she just stares at him. And again, like, I keep harping on this idea of like the way that female characters are written, specifically in this movie. But I feel like the whole idea was just like how much she is clamoring over this man. And I guess because she was available and around and willing to listen to him blabber, that this is what made him like so attracted to her. Up to this point, he really doesn't know anything about her because he never asks her anything about herself.
Exactly.
He just talks about himself. And she's just like, wow, this guy is so amazing. Like, this is not how relationships are built. For my money, he seems to be more in love with her son than he is with her.
Yes, I wrote that down. I said I call him Lip Nicky. That's not his name, but he loves the son for sure. Like, the kid is really cute. They have these great conversations. He makes him laugh every time they interact with each other. There's a great scene when Jerry is drunk and Dorothy's in the back getting dressed because she spills pasta on her shirt or whatever. And so the little kid comes out of the room and he starts talking to Jerry about how he wants to go to the zoo. And, he keeps talking about how the human head weighs 8 pounds with that great, amazing smile.
Oh, wait, because I want to tell you more about my dad.
No, let's go to the zoo.
Okay, I'm hogging you, you're right. I don't know, it's just my whole life I've been trying to talk. I mean, really talk. But no one wants to listen to me. You know that feeling? They just look at you. They just
Let's
really...
go right now. Let's go to the zoo.
Ray, the zoo? Fucking zoo's closed, right?
You said fuck.
Yeah, I did. Is that...
I won't tell.
And he hears his mother coming back and he's like, I gotta go to bed. I hear my mom coming. I gotta go to bed. Like, he was just adorable. And Jerry interacted really well with the kid. And that is something that Dorothy saw and immediately was thinking wedding bells.
Swoon, swoon, swoon.
Because the first time, like, they're talking with each other.
My son.
He gave her son a bunch of...
His name was Ray.
A bunch of football things. It was like in football, it was like a football jersey. So obviously he didn't pay for this stuff. Like, he got from his job, fine. Gives him all this stuff and he goes, thanks, Jerry. He gives him a hug and he kisses his cheek. And that's when she like loses her marbles. She's like, oh my God.
I think they were already on their way out, to be honest.
No, at this point, the last marble was gone.
The last marble rolled out?
Yeah, it rolled out. She was like, Laurel, did you see? He's never kissed a man like that before. And they hint that
you never brought a man around. You don't date anybody, girl.
They mentioned that her husband died, or baby father. I'm not sure if they were married, but the father, Ray's father, has passed. So, and she's like 26, I believe, with a 5-year-old. So she wants a man for her son. She also hasn't had sex, like you said, 3 guys in 3 years or something like that. And
That's generous. I think it was like 3 guys in 4 years. But,
yeah, it was a long time. And then she said something like it didn't even. They're both second to like a warm bath and a good book or something. So it wasn't even like there was enjoyable moments for her. So she's seeing Jerry. He's good with her son, and that was like a really big thing for her. And Jerry's doing the Tom Cruise smile. He's laughing with the kid. He's very charming, and she is just. I mean, basically, like, she's not throwing it at him, but in a way, it's just like leaning forward and like giving him the eyes. And I'm here for you, and I'm supportive for you, and I think you're amazing, and I think you're brilliant, and the manifesto, and it's like you're doing all these things. So the scene where they come back from dinner, and they're on the porch, and it starts off with like a kiss, like on the mouth, and it's kind of like, okay, like. Are we gonna stop or are we gonna go inside? And then he's being awkward, and he like ends up snapping the strap on her dress, and it has ties, so it becomes undone. And so now he has to tie the bow properly around her dress. But as he's doing it, he bends down and he starts like kissing her collarbone and kissing her neck. And I'm just like, y'all are standing on her front porch, and she has neighbors. She has neighbors.
A lot. It was a lot for a front porch.
It was so much.
Like, can y'all go inside the house, please? And also, like, again, it's clear. It's clear. Not even suggested. Like, it is explicitly stated in the movie that he really only seems interested because he's lonely and he's down on his luck. Mm-hmm. And even later when he's talking to Rod about her after they decide to get engaged.
This is before they got married, I think.
This is before they've even slept together, because this is when he goes inside and they have sex for the first time. Yeah. But like, he has a conversation with Rod where Rod is asking about her, and he basically is like, "Oh, she's loyal." Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, so like his whole attraction to her is that she's available. She listens to him talk about himself. She's got a great kid who he actually really loves. And she's not going to leave. She's not going anywhere. But it's like, okay, like there's nothing about her specifically as a person that you get any sense that he's attracted to.
No, it's convenient. And, she believes in him. And I think
it's convenience for her, too, because it's just like, yo, I'm lonely and I haven't had any in a while. This guy's hot. He's nice with my son. Like, I'm going to take advantage of it.
But I'm not leaving my job. Like, I can't get around that. And then even when she gets offered a job in San Francisco, she says, you know what? At first she's going to take it, and then she decides not to. And Laurel's like, you're a dummy. And then eventually, after they keep going with no money coming in, she decides, I'm going to actually take it. They end up they get a U-Haul. They pack all their things up. They're leaving Laurel's house. They're about to drive to San Francisco. She has already accepted the position. And Jerry now is panicking, like, I don't know. Because she says to him, I'll see you next weekend. But in the event, next weekend turns into next month, turns into 6 months. And, like, this is it for us. Just so you know, like, I believe in you, or whatever she says. And at that moment, he starts to panic because she's about to go. And that's when he's like, well, I know how we can save on bills and housing. Well, let's get married. It's like, what? And she says yes.
This is the part that really threw me for a loop. I'm already not feeling this Dorothy girl, right? Mm-hmm. I'm already not feeling her. She has this heavy makeout in front of her house. They go inside. They sleep together. The next morning, she's talking very loudly to her sister about this man who is still in the house. It's not like, oh my God, I can't believe he heard this because I thought he was still in the bedroom. That doesn't make any sense at all. Why are you talking? Wait till he leaves. Anyway, she's like, you know what? I'm sure. I love this man. I love him. I love him. I love him. She goes on this whole speech. And at that point, I was like, okay, I really think I hate this person.
Yeah, because why do you love him? And matter of fact, he ends up asking
he gave her some.
Because after the wedding, remember, they're sitting in the bed, and she says to him, why do you love me? And he's like, why do you love me? And she's getting ready to talk, and then that's when Ray comes in, like, Jerry, can I stay in the bed and watch sports? And she says, not now, bud. And he's like, yeah, sure, just for a little bit. Because, of course, he's trying to delay that conversation and change the subject. And then she starts looking at him like, oh, maybe this isn't going to work. It's like, duh, girl.
But then after she knows that he heard the conversation, and he plays it cool. He tries to make sure that she doesn't feel embarrassed. But the fact is, it is very clear in their dynamic moving forward that she loves this man and he doesn't love her back. So when she finally decides, like, yo, I'm leaving, this doesn't make any more sense for me, I was like, oh, finally, she's got some sense. And when he says, like, hey, we could just get married, I'm thinking, like, oh, she's about to just be like, that's not good enough. I actually need you to say something like, I love you, or like, you know, show me that you care. But that's not what happens at all. I was so blown. I'm like, wait, she's accepting this? This is not even a real proposal. He literally just proposed so that you wouldn't leave town.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. She fell right for it. And Laurel is sitting at the window watching this just like in disbelief because she's like, get in the car, just go. And sure enough, now there's a wedding to plan. And even after the wedding, they're watching the wedding tape. And Rod is there with his wife. They're watching it back. And you can see before Dorothy walks down the aisle, the camera is on Jerry. And typically before a wedding, you're looking at the groom. They're smiling. They're excited. They can't wait to see their bride. He looks stressed. He looks like he owes the IRS some money and they're about to come audit his house. Like, he does not look like he's about to get married to the love of his life. And Rod clocks it and turns around and sees that Dorothy also saw it. And that's when he guys kind of like make her feel a little bit better. Like, oh, like the Maguires, you know, let's do a cheers. And then he asked Jerry, like, you didn't have the talk, did you? And he's like, no, I didn't. But we got married, you know, basically. And Rod is like, I guess this is another way to go about it. But Rod's thinking like, you're a moron because this is not going to work.
Yeah, and like Rod is mad extra. Rod is full of himself. Rod is he's an NFL wide receiver, which at that time in the 90s were the big characters of the NFL. So these were usually the big mouth, cocky guys. So it made sense for him to also play a wide receiver in this movie. And so like there's that side of him. But the other side of Rod is he has like a fulfilling, loving relationship with his wife. And I think for all the things that Jerry tries to tell him about how he could better position himself as a endorsement athlete, he also has a lot of advice to give Jerry about how to maintain relationships. And there's this one scene where the two couples are like out to lunch. And it's just like the way that he interacts with his wife, Jerry and Dorothy look at them and they notice that like, oh, we don't have that. And then he like tries to put his arm around her and like kiss on her. And it's like, bro,
it was awkward.
This is worse than if you just sat there and didn't do this. Like, why are you, this contrived PDA is just not it. Like, why are you with this woman?
Yeah, it was very awkward to watch that. But I did like seeing the scenes with Cuba and his wife because, like, you could tell they were really in love. Because initially when Rod is trying to, you know, get another contract, his contract is about to run out, and he's getting the offer. Initially, it was like $1.7 million for 3 years. And Marcy... And
they asked for 10.
Yeah, Marcy says, like, we got to reject this. Because Jerry's like, we got to take it because if you get injured, like, that's it. Like, wrap you. But Marcy's like, I believe in you. Like, you're a strong black man. You're a great player. You're this. You're a great family man. Like, she... And we talked about this a little bit in like Boys in the Hood, like speaking life into people and how you talk to your kids. But she's speaking life into her husband in a way that, I mean, Dorothy in a way does speak to Jerry like this, but Dorothy doesn't love Jerry the way that Marcy loves Rod. Like Marcy and Rod have
She's
like
in love with the
actual,
idea of Jerry.
Yeah. Like Marcy and Rod have an actual like very strong foundation in their relationship. Because anytime something good happens with him, the first person he wants to see is Marcy. The first person he wants to call is Marcy. Like, it's very much, embedded in him
That's his
that
person.
his family comes first.
Yeah.
And you're right. Watching them, like, there's no way you're not going to feel uncomfortable as Jerry or Dorothy, because it's like, it's very obvious, like, we are not that.
No.
Not even close.
So how did they break up? Because they like break up before he has this whole like "you complete me" speech at the end. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, because at some point she like sends him away, or I don't know what. I don't even really remember.
She breaks up with him because she realizes, like, before this happens, he ends up being on the road all the time. Because if you notice, Rod kept being like, "You're here, why aren't you home with your wife?" So it wasn't even like Rod was asking him to come on the road. He was going to every single one of Rod's games. And then I feel like even after the game, he probably was like going into the office or, doing stuff to avoid going home.
He's also somehow the only sports agent that's in the locker room with the players. Like,
Yeah.
why is he there?
You saw the scene with the one reporter, she drops the mic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was crazy.
But yeah, he's actively trying not to go home. And Dorothy is not an idiot. She realizes what's going on. And so one of the times when he comes home, she has a conversation with him and basically says, like, this isn't going to work. It's my fault, she says. I forced this on you. But it's coming to the point where, like, I can't love you enough for the both of us. Because she knows he don't love her. In her mind, she loves him. In her mind, she loves him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't love her the way that she loves him. So, to be fair, assuming that she did love him, unrequited love is not something that feels good. So at the end of the day, it's like, this is not going to work because you really don't care about me. You love my son, but that's not enough to make a marriage work. So she wraps him and is like, yeah, like, let's just take a break, I think she said. So they're not divorced, they're just separated. And this is before Jerry ends up going to Rod's big game. And from what I recall, I believe like Rod's team had to like win this game and one more to make it into the playoffs, I think is what the announcer had said.
Right. So basically, he still doesn't have a contract for next year. The team he plays for, the Cardinals, they don't want to renew him because they're like, yo, he's actually undersized and he's not that good. And then this is when he starts killing and he starts like scoring every week. He's getting mad carries and catches and he's like, nice. So then there's like, we have to win this game to get into the playoffs. But at this point, he still doesn't have a contract. So, of course, as luck would have it, Rod scores the game-winning touchdown and gets clattered in the end zone. And he had already gotten like 2 concussions previously. So there was a big concern after he gets knocked out that like, oh, he's going to be injured. Yeah, he won them the game, but he's not going to get paid now. Which, of course, is going to, like, completely tank Jerry's whatever, his little sports agency that he has with one client.
This scene was a lot.
Just say,
this
like,
scene was a lot.
The sports medicine here is really bad. First of all, it's the mid-'90s, and we know that they didn't really start caring about concussion protocols till, like, the past 15 years. So, to that extent, it's pretty realistic that they're just like, hey, is he okay? And then they just let him go back out there. Because they definitely did stuff like that in the 90s.
Yikes.
What did not make sense, though, was the fact that, like, he's knocked out cold. Like, he's unconscious. And they're like, oh, my God, he's not moving. Get the doctor out here. The doctor goes to go work with him, and he's just, like, clapping his hands in front of Rod. Like, this is not sports medicine at all.
Wake up, Rod.
Wake up, man. Like, that is not... Anyone could do that. His teammates could have done that. That's not what you're getting paid to do as the team doctor. This is ridiculous.
No?
And then he just, like, wakes up. He's like, what? Ooh. Oh, we won? Oh. And then he starts breakdancing.
But then he's lying there on the floor and says, wait, give me this moment. Because everybody's like, Rod, Rod, Rod. They're trying to cheer and encourage him. And he's like, give me this moment. And then another thing that's also strange to me is, like, this man got a really bad hit. He's on the floor. Like, would the cameraman just show him, like, to
No.
the... Like, you wouldn't
that's
show
not a
him.
thing.
You would pan
No.
away, right?
Yes.
Because that's... what if he dies, you know? Like, you don't want to
pan
show
away,
that.
you'd cut to commercial, you do a lot of things. It's like, yeah.
And then as they're showing it, so you're seeing Rod Tidwell's family at home. They're all watching. His wife is there. His brother is there. And at one point, the announcer even says, man, I hope his family's not watching this. And it's like, what?
Which is an insane thing to say on national television. It was a
What?
Monday Night Football game, too.
Right.
So it's on, like, ABC.
There's a lot happening. So then eventually he hears the cheering. Now he's feeling himself. He's like, yeah, give me this moment. He slowly sits up. Then he's like, he puts his hand up. Then he starts dancing around. Was it the end zone? What they call it? I don't know nothing about football. The end zone. Then he like spikes the ball. Then he starts like...
He jumps into the crowd.
Then he's breakdancing.
Yeah.
He starts climbing. Yeah. Like, I mean, it was
Like,
so...
this man is very clearly concussed. Why are you allowing him to break dance?
And
So
also-
he needs to be sent to the nearest hospital immediately.
Wouldn't they give you some kind of like, what do they call it, fouls or like for doing that, all that fanfare? Doesn't the
you'd get a flag.
The NFL frowned against that stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm like, all right.
he would have got a flag on the play, but regardless of that, like he should have been taken to the nearest hospital.
Yes.
He's not, because at the
At
end
all.
of the game, we see him coming out of the locker room and the press are there and Jerry's there. So it's like, oh, so he's still here?
Yeah. He's not going
All
to the
right.
hospital. He's going home after this.
Yeah, apparently he is.
But this all happens and he has this moment and his team is, going on to the next level. He played tremendously. And Jerry had told him earlier on to like dance because he comes off as like this angry type of person. And that's why they didn't want to re-sign him. And now he's playing to the audience. He's dancing around. He's giving the people what they want. And when all the reporters are crowding around him, trying to talk to him, I feel like the interaction with him and Jerry, he's like, where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? And he looks at Jerry, and then Jerry smiles at him, and it's happening for them. Like, there's tears in their eyes. And for me, I felt like the relationship between Rod and Jerry was way more, not romantic, but it was way more emotional. Like, I felt that more than I felt anything for him and Dorothy throughout the movie. So I actually preferred the locker room scenes with him than I did like him going
100%.
back. Him going back and saying, you complete me and all that. It did nothing for me.
No.
But him and Rod, I felt that.
Him
I
and
felt
Rod
that.
and him and Ray.
Yes.
Like
yes.
his relationships with that man, with another man, and with a little boy were more meaningful for me than his relationship with his actual wife. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So after Jerry sees what's going on, Jerry ends up. I think Marcy calls Jerry's phone because she's like, is he okay? Whatever. And then he's like, is that my wife, Marcy? And then he breaks down again. And like seeing him cry, talking to his wife, like it's nice to see someone care about their family so much. And like he just wanted to tell her how he felt. And after they end that call and Jerry sees like he's good, he has his moment, he spoke to his wife. Now Jerry's literally running across town to go back to Laurel's house so that he can speak to his wife. And this is when he walks in, and of course the whole divorced women's group is there. And now his wife is also in the group, but she is the one voice that's not like, not all guys are bad. I still love men. Like she's still trying to say that she basically would be the voice today that says like, not all men. That's her.
yeah.
That's who she is. And Jerry comes in and she's in the kitchen so he can't find her. And he's like, hello, I'd like to speak to my wife. And everybody just like, gets quiet. And then she comes out and then he starts saying all these things about the night. Tonight we had a big night. It was a great night. And the whole time, all I could think about is, I just wanted to tell you, to talk to you about it. And she shushes him and she says the famous line, like, you had me at, shut up. You had me at hello. And it's this moment. And I think you're right when you talk about Laurel. It was almost like this, like you said, like a gotcha moment. Like, you didn't believe in love. And yet, here you are in the face of you and all of your doubthere.
Yeah.
Here is true love.
Exactly.
resurrected, and and I just was like, so, but did he change? Did anything change?
Well,
Like-
now he gets to be with Ray. So
I'm just thinking, like, yes, I mean, he saw, I guess, Rod talk to his wife, but like he's been seeing Rod and his wife interact the entire movie.
yeah,
So
I don't know.
I didn't quite get what caused.
I feel like it was just like for the first time in the movie, something good happened for him, and then he was just like, "Oh man, I wish I had somebody to celebrate with."
And it's like, oh,
But like
she's
that's
here.
not what love is.
Yeah,
I mean, that's part of it for sure. Like, yeah, you want to share your wins with someone, but I don't know. I didn't believe in this relationship. I mean, I've been saying that a lot lately because I said the same thing after we watched Twister, which I didn't believe in that relationship either.
Yeah, not
But,
at all.
I mean, this one probably even less so.
Agreed.
A couple of things I did wanted to just talk about briefly before we get to themes. I felt like at various points in the movie, both Dorothy and Jerry were made to feel guilty for things that I didn't really feel like that was their fault.
Like,
Firstly, when Jerry and Dorothy sleep together for the first time and he's talking to Rod about it, and Rod blames him for shoplifting the pootie. And he's like, no, I didn't. He's like, yo, you did. And I'm like, I actually don't feel like he did. Like, if anything, I felt like Dorothy took advantage of him in that moment where he was like vulnerable and sad. And she's like, oh, I got this guy. I haven't had sex in a while. Like, cool. I'm going to take him into my house and I'm going to beat it up. You know what I'm saying?
but it's
like,
not even just that, because before they even have sex, he says to her, this is going to change everything. Are you sure you want to do this? And she's like, you promise? So I was like, girl.
that was an insane line. That was insane. This is going to change everything. You promise?
So yeah,
Yeah, right.
I agree. Like,
So I'm
she
like, he
wanted
did not
it.
shoplift the pootie. So that was number one. But then number two, after they got married and Jerry is very clearly not happy, I feel like she was giving herself way too much blame for it. Which, like, you could argue that she manipulated him, I guess. But, like, she was going to move and he, on a whim, just proposed. That was not something that she did. That was his fault. He didn't have to propose to her. He could have let her go, or he could have just said, hey, I still really want to be with you. Don't leave. He didn't do either of those things. And so I don't know. I just felt like the beginning was definitely her fault and he felt guilty for it. And then them getting married was his fault and she felt guilty for it. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about themes. What did you come up with?
So for themes, and again, I'll preface this by saying I don't believe in the relationship, and I really don't think that Jerry learned a lot. So I'm going to start by saying that. But the themes that I think we were supposed to get from the film is the idea of self-reflection and changing of bad habits. Because, like we said at the first half of the film, or just maybe the first 5 minutes of the film, Jerry is this just very eager, snake in the grass type of agent who does whatever he needs to do to get money. And as a matter of fact, it was part of the reason why he was unable to get Rod's contract initially re-signed, because Derek, who was, I guess in charge of like the hiring for the Cardinals, basically was like, at the end of the day, like, you've squeezed me out of stuff like all the time. You screwed me over multiple times, and like now it's your turn. So he's not a good guy when it comes to, doing his business. And
He's good at the business.
yes, but he's not good
not a
at
good
how he
person.
treats people.
Yeah.
But throughout the film, he ends up creating a very personal relationship with Rod. I mean, they're friends. He was at his wedding. They're giving each other advice. And they do get along well, even when they're not working on getting an endorsement. And over time, he was able to care more about the work, and it became more rewarding for him, so that when his client did get a win, like, yes, he's going to get paid, which is a big deal. But I really did feel that he was happy for Rod. And at the end, when Rod does end up getting like over $11 million contract over 4 years, I believe it was, he's so happy for him. Again, there's like tears in his eyes. And so he does learn that for the business, it is more rewarding to have these personal relationships with people. So I'll talk about that side. that part of it, I kind of bought into.
Yeah, and I think there throughout the movie, they also show like these flashback clips of his mentor, who repeatedly is sending him the message about leading with love and how the job is all about relationships and you have to care about people in order to really do good things for them. And yeah, I agree with you. I feel like the movie is about this idea of like vulnerability and being willing to lead with your heart. And basically like nothing that you do is really going to matter. And we see, you know, the opposite end of that is like he learns this lesson. He's able to actually like connect with Rod. And when they're having this big hug, you see Bob Sugar standing in the hallway next to one of his clients. And he's like, hey, man, how come we don't have a relationship like that? So, yeah, I think there's definitely trying to tell that story. And I think it's also shown, or supposed to be shown anyway, in his relationship with Dorothy is like he refused to be vulnerable with her until the end of the movie, and that's when they are able to have their big 90s movie kiss.
Because she completes him.
Yes, but also because he was willing to admit it.
Yes, allegedly.
All right, anyway, let's get some facts.
Cuba won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in this film, so shout out to him. In the Rolling Stone Journal from 1996, the director and writer Crowe said that he wrote this film initially with Tom Hanks in mind, but apparently Hanks rejected an earlier version of the script. Tom Hanks says, quote, he didn't buy the marriage part, but Crowe said that without that part, it became just a story about a guy sleeping with a girl from his office. So since Hanks didn't want it, he was just kind of like, I just got to cast somebody else. Because Tom Hanks was like,
Tom Hanks is not wrong.
Yeah.
Because the marriage part was like, that's where the movie like really like got ridiculous for me.
I actually forgot they got married until I watched it this time. I was like, they got married in the middle of the movie? Completely forgot about it. The scene where they're in the locker room, and you mentioned that he's the only agent constantly in the locker room.
Yes. There's
a scene where he comes out of the shower and he's butt naked. So apparently when he was reading for the scene, Gooding asked, like, am I naked here? And Crowe said, yeah. And he said, all right. So at that moment, Gooding just snapped down his pants and just stood naked. Come on, let's go, he said. And then they were all stunned and laughing. And then he said, bring it on. Come on, let's read the scene. I'm going to get this part. I ain't afraid of nothing. So he was very committed.
Well, he got the part.
He got the part and he got the Oscar. So
yeah.
Swag him out.
Well, yeah, I guess. Sometimes you got to pull down your pants to win awards in Hollywood. So
Renee Zellweger talked about the famous "You Had Me at Hello" line. And she expressed that Cameron had her read it a few different ways because when she read it, she didn't get it. She thought it was a typo. So she couldn't figure out like the inflection. It's like, you had me at hello, like what? Like she couldn't understand how that sentence was supposed to be read because it's not a normal sentence that you would read. So it took her a while to figure out how to emphasize it, but they were able to get it out. The mission statement that was written is actually loosely based on a 28-page memo that Jeffrey Katzenberg wrote when he was the head of Disney after becoming dissatisfied with the company's box office-driven mentality. We talked about Jeffrey Katzenberg in our Ferngully episode because, as you recall, he left Disney and started the new DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg. Mm-hmm. So he wrote a memo like that before leaving Disney.
Wow.
So they kind of took part of that in this film. Well,
Disney has not stopped doing that, Jeffrey. So I guess good on you. Because that's before they even started making all them damn Marvel movies.
Boy, Disney's about that money. Now, Paula Abdul choreographed the post-concussion dance that
that was choreographed?
Yes.
Why? Why did they need him to choreograph it?
So Did you know that Gooding used to be a dancer?
I did not know that.
Apparently, he performed with Lionel Richie at the 1984 Olympics closing ceremonies.
Well, I know what I'm looking up as soon as we're done
And
recording.
He was on this show called The Graham Norton Show, and he basically showed off his breakdancing moves. It's on YouTube, so I got the clip. I'll send it to you later, and I'll probably put it in the Patreon too. But yeah, you can see him like dancing around. I had no idea that was all him, and that it was choreographed, and that he could actually dance. So I've been shouting him out a lot.
That's even less reason for it to have been choreographed. The guy already knows how to dance. Just let him do something.
You gotta get Paula Abdul. Did they want Paula Abdul for some other movie we covered, and they said no?
I don't even
I think it was Bring It On. I think it was Bring It On. Or no. It was 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay,
the scene where Julia Stiles gets on top of the table and dances.
The Biggie scene.
They wanted Paula, and Julia was like, "I got this."
I don't need no Paula Abdul. I'm out here, baby. I'm Julia Stiles. You ain't see me in Save the Last Dance, dog. You know, I'm out here, dog.
And then the very famous line, "Show me the money," is based on an athlete who was represented. I believe the athlete's name was Tim McDonald. And apparently there was an interview, and McDonald's was like watching like CNN and like Moneyline with like the ticker of the money on the bottom. And he said something like, "I've gotten my butt kicked for 5 years. My contract is finally up. And I've told my agent one thing, show me the money." And they were able to use that in this film. So there's a lot of like use from like actual people. They also followed an actual sports agent. This sports agent also, I think at the time, had Troy Aikman as one of their clients. So, you know, they did a lot of research in this film. The name of the agent was Lee Steinberg. So shout out to them. And I wanted to make a correction real fast. I was talking about her getting a job in San Francisco. It was actually in San Diego. Because I know y'all would love to correct us. So it was in San Diego, not San Francisco. All right. Time for Rewind ratings.
Rewind ratings, where we will rate the movie from 1 to 5 rewinds based on our likelihood to watch this movie again in the future.
Yes.
I'll go first. I feel like this is an entertaining movie. Like, I feel like it's a fun movie to watch. It's an easy movie to watch. Cuba Gooding's very entertaining. Jonathan Lipnicki is adorable as hell. I just think Bonnie Hunt is the best. I love her dry delivery in this movie, and also in Beethoven, and also in Jumanji. Like, she's great. So I loved seeing her in this. I feel like I liked some of the side characters more than I actually liked Jerry and Dorothy.
Of course.
So that does like dock some points for me, and like the entire romantic subplot from the heavy makeout scene on the porch to all the way to the last scene at the end with the "You Complete Me." Like, I could have done without all of it, frankly. But I still feel like the main storyline with Rod and Jerry is like pretty good, and it's entertaining, and it kept me engaged. So I'm gonna give this, I'm gonna go like 3.5 rewinds.
Okay. That's a pretty strong score. I think
it is a rewatchable movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
That's the thing. It's like the question is, would I rewatch this movie again? And yeah, I would. I've seen it a bunch of times. I feel like there were a few things that I didn't quite remember, like the groping in the middle of the night when he was drunk. I didn't remember any of that. I didn't remember them getting married in the middle of the film. But like you said, the side characters are very entertaining. I really enjoyed hating Bob Sugar. Every scene that he was in, I was
played
like,
by Jay Moore.
Yeah, I hated this guy. And it's like a lot of like escalating the conflict within the movie of him thinking that he had Cushman and then he lost Cushman. And I mean, Cushman's dad, I didn't mention this before, but I'll mention it now. When Jerry says to him, like, basically what happened, I thought your word was as strong as oak. And he's like, we signed with Bob Sugar a half hour ago when you were in the lobby with that black fella. I said,
oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
That was a loaded comment.
Wait a minute.
That was a loaded comment.
I said, what? Cushman. So, yeah, I wrote that down because I was like, bro, that was a lot happening there. But again, it's all
So
part
if
of the movie.
if he was in a lobby with a white fella, you wouldn't sign with Bob Sugar?
Maybe not. I don't know.
That man sucks.
Or maybe just with the fact that like you weren't paying my son all the attention that he, needs or deserves, I guess. But anyway, it's like we didn't even talk about half the quotes I wrote down because there's so many of them. We don't have time, but it's definitely a good movie. I would definitely watch it again, if for nothing else than Lip Nicky, because that kid killed every single scene he was in. There's nothing like his little smile. He was fantastic, and I really enjoyed the scenes with Rod and his wife, showing how strong their relationship is. And even if you take out like the Jerry and Dorothy, like the sex scene and the make out on the porch and all that, there's still enough there that I still enjoy watching. So for me, I'm giving this one a 3.7.
Ooh, you try to Price Is Right me? Is what you're doing?
Yeah, I enjoy this movie. This is a fun one. All right, y'all. Well, if you have a movie you would like for us to rewind, rewatch, and review, then just shoot us an email at rewindrewatch1990s. You can also leave us a message on social media at RR90spod. Thanks for continuing to let us know where you are listening from so we can give you a shout out. And, leave us a review, a rating, or a comment.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was also just thinking because you said this movie was requested by our mom, who also lives in Georgia.
Oh, in Georgia.
So that is another Georgian lucky duck this week. So
we gotta switch it up. I mean, next week is your pick, Joel. So hopefully you'll pick another.
Well, that's the thing.
state.
Like we don't look at who requests the movie
when
we pick it. So we don't know until after we pick the movie. So we'll see. GA has been running the pod for like the entire month of November.
They really have. And also, don't forget, we have our Patreon that's up and running for $5 a month. You get bonus episodes. This week, they actually just got Harlem Nights just came out this week. So you can check that out as well as any other bonus episodes we have. We also have a private chat where you can interact with myself and Joel, as well as all of your other fellow Patreon members. All right, Joel, do you have any final words for this week's episode?
Don't cry at the beginning of a date. Cry at the end like I do.
That's right. All right, y'all. We'll see you later.
Adios.